The lost city of Atlantis, a myth or reality? Good evening, dear listeners, and welcome to the first chapter of our series, Legendary Lost Cities of the Past. Tonight, we embark on a journey through time and myth to a place that has captivated the human imagination for centuries. Our story begins with a city so magnificent, so advanced, that it seems almost impossible to believe it ever existed. Yet its tale has been passed down through the ages, whispered in the halls of history, and echoed in the dreams of explorers. This is the story of Atlantis, the lost city beneath the waves. So settle in, let your mind wander, and join me as we dive into the depths of this ancient mystery. A city of legend and lore. Imagine a city unlike any other, a place where the streets shimmer with gold and the buildings gleam with precious gems. Picture a civilization so advanced that its people live in perfect harmony with nature, their lives enriched by unparalleled knowledge and wisdom. This is Atlantis, as first introduced to the world by the ancient Greek philosopher Plato in his works Timaeus and Critias. According to Plato, Atlantis was a thriving empire that existed over 9,000 years before his time, located beyond the Pillars of Hercules, what we now call the Strait of Gibraltar. The story goes that Atlantis was a gift from Poseidon, the god of the sea, to his mortal son Atlas, after whom the city was named. Under Atlas's rule, Atlantis became a beacon of progress. Its citizens were masters of navigation, engineering, and warfare, their skills unmatched by any other culture of their era. The city itself was a marvel to behold, a series of concentric rings of land and water, linked by bridges and tunnels, surrounded by towering walls. At its heart stood a magnificent temple to Poseidon, its walls said to be clad in orichalcum, a mysterious, fiery metal that has puzzled historians for centuries. But Atlantis was more than just a beautiful city. It was a society of incredible wealth and power. Its harbors buzzed with ships from distant lands, its markets overflowed with exotic goods, and its people enjoyed a life of luxury. Yet beneath this golden surface, a shadow loomed. Plato warns that the Atlanteans, once noble and just, began to change. Success bred arrogance, and their thirst for power grew insatiable. They turned their eyes outward, seeking to dominate the world. But their ambition came at a cost. The gods, angered by their hubris, decided to act. In a single catastrophic day and night, Atlantis was swallowed by the sea, its glory reduced to silence, its people lost to the waves. The search for Atlantis. Was Atlantis real, or was it just a story? A fable crafted by Plato to teach a lesson about pride and morality. For centuries, scholars dismissed it as fiction, a philosopher's invention. But the idea of a lost city, buried beneath the ocean, has refused to fade. It lingers in our collective imagination, calling out to adventurers and researchers who dream of uncovering its secrets. Over the years, countless theories have emerged about where Atlantis might have been. One of the most popular points to the Atlantic Ocean, somewhere between Europe and the Americas. Could it lie beneath the shifting sands of the ocean floor, waiting to be found? Some believe the story was inspired by the Minoan civilization on Crete, which vanished after a massive volcanic eruption around 1600 BCE. The explosion of Thera, they say, could have sent tsunamis crashing over the island, mirroring Plato's tale of a sudden end. Others look elsewhere. In the Mediterranean, The island of Santorini is a favorite candidate. Its sunken caldera, a haunting reminder of nature's power. Farther afield, explorers have searched the Caribbean, where strange underwater structures near Cuba have fueled wild speculation. And then there's the boldest theory of all, that Atlantis wasn't an island, but a continent, perhaps even Antarctica, hidden beneath ice until a catastrophic flood changed the world. Each theory brings its own evidence: ancient texts, geological clues, even submerged ruins. Yet none have provided a definitive answer. Could Atlantis be a distorted memory of a real event, a time when rising seas claimed thriving cities along forgotten coasts? Or is it something more, a symbol of what humanity could achieve and what we stand to lose? A legacy that endures. Real or not, Atlantis has left an indelible mark on our world. Its story has echoed through time, inspiring explorers like Christopher Columbus, who sailed the Atlantic in search of new horizons, and writers like Jules Verne, whose 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea brought the ocean's mysteries to life. In modern times, Atlantis has starred in films, books, and games. Think of Disney's Atlantis, The Lost Empire, or the underwater cities of science fiction. It's a legend that refuses to die, a spark that ignites our curiosity again and again. But Atlantis is more than entertainment. It's a mirror reflecting our own ambitions and fears. It asks us to consider the price of progress, the balance between power and responsibility. In a world of towering skyscrapers and cutting edge technology, the fall of Atlantis feels eerily relevant. What lessons can we learn from its fate? And what mysteries still lie hidden, waiting to be uncovered? As we stand at the edge of this tale, peering into the abyss of history, one question lingers. Could Atlantis still be out there? New discoveries, whether in the depths of the sea or the pages of ancient texts, might one day reveal the truth. The lost city calls to us, its voice carried on the tide, urging us to keep searching, to keep wondering. What secrets does it hold? And what will we find when we finally reach its shores? The city of El Dorado, the endless quest for gold. In the first part of our journey, we explored the origins of the El Dorado legend, a tale born from the rituals of the Muisca people, where a tribal chief, covered in gold dust, would dive into Lake Guatavita as an offering to the gods. This shimmering vision of a golden man soon transformed into a dream of an entire city made of gold, hidden deep within the jungles of South America. The Spanish conquistadors, driven by greed and glory, were the first to chase this mirage, but their expeditions ended in failure and despair. Yet the legend refused to die. It grew, spreading like wildfire across Europe, igniting the imaginations of kings, explorers, and adventurers alike. Tonight, we delve deeper into the story of El Dorado, how it fueled centuries of exploration, became a metaphor for the unattainable, and continues to captivate us to this day. What drove men to risk everything for a city that may never have existed? And could there be a grain of truth buried beneath the myth? The golden fever spreads. As the 16th century drew to a close, the legend of El Dorado had taken on a life of its own. No longer just a tale of a golden king, it had morphed into a vision of an entire kingdom where gold was as common as stone. The Spanish had scoured the Andes and the Amazon, but their quests had yielded only hardship and disappointment. Still, the dream persisted, and soon other European powers caught the golden fever. If Spain couldn't find El Dorado, perhaps another nation could. Enter Sir Walter Raleigh, the famed English explorer and favorite of Queen Elizabeth I. In 1595, Raleigh set sail for South America, his heart set on finding the fabled city. He ventured into the Orinoco River basin, navigating treacherous waters and dense jungles, his men battling disease, hunger, and hostile tribes. Raleigh's expedition, like those before it, found no city of gold. But he returned to England with tales of a land rich in potential, claiming that El Dorado lay just beyond the horizon, waiting to be discovered. His words, though unproven, stoked the fires of ambition. If a man as renowned as Raleigh believed in El Dorado, surely it must exist. Raleigh's obsession with El Dorado would haunt him. In 1617, he embarked on a second expedition, this time with tragic consequences. His son was killed in a skirmish with Spanish forces, and Raleigh himself was arrested upon his return to England, accused of treason for violating a peace treaty with Spain. He was executed in 1618, his dreams of El Dorado buried with him. Yet his legacy endured. His writings inspired generations of explorers to continue the search. The legend's grip on exploration. The allure of El Dorado did more than just send men into the wilderness. It reshaped the course of history. The promise of untold riches drew waves of adventurers to South America, spurring the exploration and colonization of vast territories. The legend became a driving force behind the conquest of the New World, as European powers raced to claim land and resources in the name of gold and glory. But the search for El Dorado came at a terrible cost. Indigenous peoples were enslaved, their cultures decimated, and their lands plundered. The Muisca, the very people whose rituals had birthed the legend, were nearly wiped out by Spanish greed. Expeditions into the Amazon brought disease and destruction, leaving a trail of suffering in their wake. The dream of El Dorado, once a symbol of wonder, became a harbinger of tragedy. Yet the legend refused to fade. As the years passed, El Dorado evolved. It was no longer just a city, it was a metaphor for the unattainable, a symbol of humanity's endless quest for wealth, adventure, and paradise. Explorers like Francisco de Orellana, who discovered the Amazon River in 1541, and Lope de Aguirre, the mad conquistador who declared himself Wrath of God, were driven by the same insatiable desire that had gripped their predecessors. Their journeys, though often brutal, opened up new frontiers, mapping lands that had never been seen by European eyes. A glimmer of truth? For centuries, El Dorado remained a mirage, always just out of reach. But could there be a kernel of truth buried beneath the myth? In the 20th century, archaeologists and historians began to piece together clues that suggested the legend might have roots in reality. In 1969, a remarkable discovery was made in Colombia: the Muisca raft, a golden artifact depicting a chief surrounded by attendants, seemingly preparing for a ritual. This tiny masterpiece, now housed in the Gold Museum in Bogota, is believed to represent the very ceremony that inspired the El Dorado legend. It's a tantalizing glimpse into the world of the Muisca, a people who, while not possessing a city of gold, were skilled goldsmiths whose artistry fueled the imaginations of the Spanish. Further evidence emerged in the 1980s when explorers drained parts of Lake Guatavita, the sacred site of the Muisca ritual. They uncovered gold artifacts, pottery, and even human remains, offerings cast into the lake over centuries. While no city was found, the lake's treasures confirmed that the Muisca did indeed perform elaborate ceremonies involving gold, lending credence to the legend's origins. But the question remains, was there ever a city of gold, or was El Dorado always a dream, a reflection of human longing? The answer, perhaps, lies somewhere in between. The Muisca's wealth was real, but it was their culture, not a single city, that glittered with gold. The legend, like so many myths, grew from a seed of truth, blossoming into a story that captured the world's imagination. The enduring allure of El Dorado. Today, El Dorado lives on, not as a place on a map, but as a symbol of the human spirit's endless pursuit of the extraordinary. It has inspired countless works of art, literature, and film, from Voltaire's Candide to the adventures of Indiana Jones. The legend has even found its way into modern culture, with theme parks and video games offering virtual quests for the lost city. But El Dorado's legacy is more than just entertainment. It serves as a reminder of the power of myth to shape history, to drive exploration, and to fuel both the best and worst of human ambition. It asks us to reflect on the cost of our desires, how far we are willing to go in search of wealth, knowledge, or paradise. And it leaves us with a question. What is our own El Dorado? What dreams do we chase, and what are we willing to sacrifice to find them? As we conclude this chapter of our journey, the legend of El Dorado lingers, its golden glow undimmed by time. The city may never have existed, but its story continues to inspire, to challenge, and to captivate. Perhaps in the end, El Dorado is not a place to be found, but a journey to be taken, a quest that reminds us of the boundless potential of the human spirit. Troy, the city of legends and myths. Imagine standing on the windswept plains of northwestern Turkey, where the earth whispers tales of heroes and gods. Here, beneath layers of soil and time, lies the ancient city of Troy, a place where history and myth intertwine, where the echoes of a legendary war still resonate. This is a city immortalized by Homer's epic poems, the Iliad and the Odyssey, a place where brave warriors clashed and a wooden horse changed the course of history. But is Troy merely a figment of poetic imagination, or did it truly exist? Join us as we journey through the sands of time to uncover the secrets of Troy, a city that has captivated the world for millennia, a city shrouded in myth. The story of Troy begins in the mists of antiquity, where the lines between history and legend blur. According to Homer, Troy was a prosperous city ruled by King Priam, a man of great wealth and wisdom. Its walls were said to be impregnable, built by the gods Poseidon and Apollo themselves. The city's fate was sealed when Paris, a Trojan prince, abducted Helen, the wife of the Spartan king Menelaus, sparking a decade-long war between the Greeks and the Trojans. The Trojan War, as recounted in the Iliad, was a clash of titans. Heroes like Achilles, Hector, and Odysseus fought with valor and cunning, their deeds etched into the annals of mythology. The war reached its climax with the infamous Trojan horse, a clever ruse devised by Odysseus. The Greeks, feigning retreat, left behind a massive wooden horse, inside which their soldiers hid. The Trojans, believing it to be a gift, brought the horse into their city, sealing their doom. Under the cover of night, the Greeks emerged, opening the gates to their army and sacking the city. For centuries, Troy was thought to be a mere fable, a poetic creation, but the allure of its story was too powerful to ignore. Could such a city, with its towering walls and tragic fate, have truly existed? The question lingered, a whisper in the minds of scholars and dreamers alike. The quest for Troy. In the 19th century, one man dared to believe that Troy was more than a myth. Heinrich Schliemann, a German businessman turned archaeologist, was obsessed with finding the lost city. Armed with a copy of the Iliad and an unshakable conviction, he set out to uncover Troy's ruins. In 1870, Schliemann began excavating a hill known as Hisarlik in modern-day Turkey, a site he believed to be the location of ancient Troy. His excavations were nothing short of revolutionary. Layer by layer, Schliemann unearthed the remains of not one, but multiple cities, each built upon the ruins of the last. He discovered 9 distinct layers, spanning from the Bronze Age to the Roman period. Among these, he identified what he believed to be Homer's Troy, a city with thick walls, a grand gate, and evidence of destruction by fire. Schliemann's findings sent shockwaves through the academic world, reigniting the debate over Troy's existence. But Schliemann's methods were controversial. In his zeal, he dug recklessly, destroying valuable artifacts and confusing the site's stratigraphy. His claim to have found the treasure of Priam, a cache of gold and jewelry, was later discredited as it belonged to an earlier period. Yet despite his flaws, Schliemann had opened the door to a new era of archaeology, proving that myths could hold kernels of truth, unraveling the layers of Troy. Since Schliemann's time, archaeologists have continued to excavate Hisarlik, peeling back the layers of Troy's history. What they have found is a city that thrived for over 3,000 years, from the early Bronze Age to the Byzantine era. Each layer tells a different story, a tale of growth, destruction, and rebirth. The most significant layer, known as Troy Sixcan, dates to the late Bronze Age, around 1300 BCE. This was a city of grandeur, with massive fortifications, paved streets, and a thriving economy. It was a hub of trade, connecting the Aegean and Anatolian worlds, its markets filled with goods from distant lands. But this golden age was not to last. Around 1250 BCE, Troy 6 was destroyed, likely by an earthquake, its walls crumbling, its people scattered. The next layer, Troy 7a, shows signs of a city rebuilt in haste, its defenses shored up, its people living in fear. It was this city, archaeologists believe, that fell to the Greeks around 1180 BCE in a war that may have inspired Homer's epic. Evidence of fire, arrowheads, and unburied bodies suggests a violent end, a city sacked and burned. But was this the Trojan War of legend? The debate continues, with scholars divided over whether the war was a historical event or a poetic invention. The Trojan War, fact or fiction? The question of the Trojan War's historicity is one of the great mysteries of archaeology. While there is no definitive proof of a single decade-long conflict, there are tantalizing clues. The Hittite texts, for instance, mention a city called Wilusa, which some believe to be Troy, and conflicts with a people called the Ahiyawa, possibly the Greeks. These records hint at a time of tension and warfare in the region, but they do not confirm the epic battle described by Homer. The archaeological evidence is equally ambiguous. The destruction of Troy 7a aligns with the timeline of the supposed war, but the cause, be it Greeks, earthquakes, or internal strife, remains uncertain, yet the power of the story endures. The Trojan War, with its themes of love, honor, and betrayal, has become a cornerstone of Western literature, its characters, archetypes of human nature. Perhaps the truth lies not in the details, but in the essence. Troy, whether it fell to Greeks or to fate, was a city of real people, their lives shaped by the same hopes and fears that drive us today. The war, real or imagined, speaks to the timeless struggle for power, the cost of pride, and the fragility of civilization. Troy's enduring legacy. Troy's story did not end with its fall. The city was rebuilt time and again, each incarnation adding to its legend. The Romans, who claimed descent from the Trojan hero Aeneas, revered the site, building a new city on its ruins. Emperors like Julius Caesar and Augustus visited, paying homage to their mythic ancestors. Even in the Byzantine era, Troy remained a place of pilgrimage, its name synonymous with heroism and tragedy. Today, Troy is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, its ruins a testament to the city's layered history. Visitors can walk through its gates, trace the outlines of its walls, and stand where heroes once stood. But Troy's legacy extends far beyond its physical remains. It lives on in the stories we tell, in the lessons we learn from its fall. The tale of Troy reminds us that even the mightiest cities can crumble, that hubris can lead to ruin, and that history is often a blend of fact and fiction. As we leave the windswept plains of Troy, the sun setting on its ancient stones, we are left with a sense of wonder and reflection. The city's story is a tapestry of myth and reality, a reminder that the past is never truly lost. It lives on in the tales we tell and the questions we ask. What other secrets lie buried beneath the earth? What stories wait to be uncovered? The mystery of Troy invites us to keep searching, to keep dreaming, and to keep listening to the whispers of history. Pompeii, the city frozen in time. Imagine a bustling Roman city nestled on the sun-drenched slopes of southern Italy, where the air is thick with the scent of olive groves and the distant murmur of the sea. This is Pompeii, a place of vibrant markets, grand villas, and lively streets, a city alive with the pulse of daily life. But in an instant, it became a tomb, buried beneath the wrath of a mountain, its story silenced for centuries. This is the tale of Pompeii, a city lost and found, a snapshot of history preserved in ash. What secrets does it hold? What lessons does it whisper from beneath the dust? Let us journey back to a time when the world was young and the gods still walked among mortals. A thriving Roman gem. Pompeii was not just any city, it was a jewel of the Roman Empire. Founded in the 7th century BCE by the Oscans, it grew into a thriving hub of trade and culture, its streets paved with ambition and prosperity. By the 1st century CE, Pompeii was a bustling metropolis, home to over 10,000 souls. Its markets overflowed with goods from across the empire, spices from the east, wine from the vineyards of Campania, and silks from distant lands. The city's amphitheater echoed with the roars of gladiators, while its theaters staged dramas that tugged at the heartstrings of its citizens. The city's wealth was reflected in its architecture. Grand villas, adorned with frescoes and mosaics, lined the streets, their courtyards alive with the laughter of children and the murmur of fountains. The Forum, the heart of civic life, was a bustling square where merchants haggled, politicians debated, and priests offered prayers to the gods. Pompeii was a city of contrasts, where the sacred and the profane danced in delicate balance, where life unfolded in all its messy, beautiful complexity. But beneath this vibrant surface, a shadow loomed. The city lay in the shadow of Mount Vesuvius, a volcano that had slumbered for centuries. The people of Pompeii, unaware of the danger, lived their lives in blissful ignorance, their eyes turned to the sea, not to the mountain that would one day seal their fate. The day the sky fell. On August 24th, 79 CE, the world ended for Pompeii. The day began like any other, with the sun rising over the Bay of Naples, casting a golden glow on the city's rooftops. But by midday, the sky darkened, and a plume of ash and smoke rose from Vesuvius, blotting out the sun. The ground trembled, and the air grew thick with the scent of sulfur. Panic gripped the city as people fled their homes, clutching their loved ones and their most precious possessions. The eruption was a catastrophic. A torrent of ash, pumice, and superheated gas rained down on Pompeii, burying the city under a blanket of destruction. The streets, once filled with life, became rivers of fire as pyroclastic flows, avalanches of gas and rock, swept through the city, incinerating everything in their path. Those who had not fled were trapped, their final moments etched into history by the ash that entombed them. For 2 days, the volcano raged, its fury unrelenting. When it finally subsided, Pompeii was gone, buried beneath 20 feet of volcanic debris. The city, once a beacon of Roman life, had vanished, its story silenced, its people forgotten. Rediscovery, a city reborn. For over 1,600 years, Pompeii lay hidden, a ghost beneath the earth. It wasn't until 1748 that the city was rediscovered, when workers digging a foundation for a summer palace stumbled upon its ruins. What they found was astonishing: a city frozen in time, its streets, homes, and even its people preserved in eerie detail. The excavation of Pompeii was a revelation. Archaeologists uncovered a snapshot of Roman life, a window into a world that had been lost to history. The city's streets were lined with shops, their counters still stocked with goods. Bakeries held loaves of bread, carbonized but intact, while taverns displayed menus painted on their walls. The villas, with their intricate frescoes and mosaics, told stories of love, war, and the gods, their colors still vivid after centuries. But it was the plaster casts of the victims that captured the world's imagination. By pouring plaster into the voids left by decomposed bodies, archaeologists created haunting replicas of the city's final moments: men, women, and children, frozen in their last breaths, their faces contorted in fear and despair. These casts are a poignant reminder of the human cost of the disaster, a testament to the fragility of life. A window into Roman life. Pompeii's preservation has provided an unparalleled glimpse into the daily life of the Roman Empire. The city's ruins reveal a society that was both sophisticated and brutal, a world where art and culture flourished alongside slavery and violence. The graffiti scrawled on its walls, declarations of love, political slogans, and crude jokes, paint a picture of a city that was alive with the voices of its people. The city's architecture, too, speaks of its grandeur. The Temple of Apollo, with its towering columns, was a place of worship and pilgrimage. The Lupanar, the city's brothel, with its explicit frescoes, offers a glimpse into the more carnal side of Roman life. and the Villa of the Mysteries, with its enigmatic paintings, hints at secret rituals and forbidden knowledge. But Pompeii is more than a museum, it is a warning. The city's fate is a reminder of nature's power and the fragility of human achievement. It asks us to consider the impermanence of our own world, to reflect on what we leave behind, the legacy of Pompeii. Today, Pompeii is one of the world's most visited archaeological sites, a place where history comes alive. Its ruins have inspired artists, writers, and filmmakers, from the Romantic poets to modern day directors. The city's story has been told and retold, its tragedy a canvas for human imagination. But Pompeii's legacy is not just one of loss, it is also one of discovery. The city's excavation has revolutionized our understanding of the Roman world, providing insights into art, architecture, and daily life. It has also spurred advances in archaeology, with new technologies revealing secrets that have lain hidden for centuries. As we walk through Pompeii's streets, we are reminded that the past is never truly gone. It lives on in the stories we tell, in the ruins we preserve, and in the lessons we learn. Pompeii is a city that died in an instant, but its spirit endures, a testament to the resilience of the human story. Machu Picchu, the lost city of the Incas, high in the Andes Mountains of Peru, where the air is thin and the peaks touch the sky, lies a hidden gem known as Machu Picchu. This ancient Incan city, nestled among the clouds, is a testament to human ingenuity and the allure of the unknown. Its stone walls, terraced fields, and temples have withstood the test of time, whispering secrets of a civilization long gone. The surrounding landscape, with its lush greenery and the winding Urubamba River below, adds to the city's mystique, making it a place of wonder and reverence. The mist clings to the peaks like a shroud, as if guarding the secrets of those who once walked its paths. A royal retreat in the clouds, Machu Picchu rose from the rugged terrain in the 15th century, a marvel born during the height of the Incan Empire. Emperor Pachacuti, a ruler whose name means "he who shakes the earth," is believed to have ordered its creation. Was it a royal estate where he could escape the demands of his empire? Or perhaps a sacred retreat, a place to commune with the gods atop the Andes? Its perch on a narrow ridge, flanked by two jagged peaks and encircled by steep cliffs, made it a fortress of nature's design, untouchable, unreachable, a world apart. The Incas molded Machu Picchu to the land itself, carving terraces into the mountainside and aligning their structures with the curves of the earth. This wasn't just a city, it was a harmony of stone and slope, a tribute to their belief that the mountains were sacred, living entities watching over them. As we delve deeper, the question lingers: what drove Pachacuti to build this sanctuary so high, so hidden? A marvel of engineering and craftsmanship. Beyond its beauty, Machu Picchu reveals the brilliance of Incan engineering. The city's builders mastered ashlar masonry, shaping stones so precisely that they interlocked without a trace of mortar. These walls, some weighing tons, have defied earthquakes and time, standing firm where modern structures might crumble. The city unfolds in three distinct realms: the agricultural terraces cascading down the slopes, the residential quarters humming with life, and the religious sanctuaries reaching toward the heavens. The Temple of the Sun, with its smooth, curved walls, catches the first light of the winter solstice, bathing its interior in a golden sheen, a silent tribute to Inti, the sun god. Nearby, the Room of the Three Windows gazes out over the Andes, its openings framing the world like a portal to the divine. Some say these windows represent the Incan trilogy, the underworld, the earth, and the sky. Then there's the Intihuatana stone, a sculpted enigma. On the equinoxes, it casts no shadow at noon, a testament to the Inca's mastery of the stars. Was it a clock, a calendar, or something more? A tether between the earth and the cosmos? Life in the clouds. Life in Machu Picchu was a dance of survival and reverence. Its people, priests, nobles, artisans, worked the terraced fields, coaxing maize and potatoes from the steep, rocky soil. Water flowed through stone channels, a lifeline engineered with such precision that it still runs today. These terraces weren't just for food, they held the mountain together, a quiet defiance against landslides and storms. Spirituality wove through every moment. In the temples, they offered prayers to Inti and Pachamama, the Earth Mother, their chants rising with the mountain winds. The Intihuatana stone stood as a focal point, perhaps a tool for priests to track the seasons or a sacred marker for pilgrims drawn to this high place. Daily life buzzed with trade, weaving, and storytelling, binding the community together. Yet who were these people really? Were they a chosen few, sent to guard a holy site, or simply families living in the shadow of their emperor's vision? The mystery of abandonment. Yet the mystery remains, so why did they leave? By the 16th century, Machu Picchu stood empty, its halls silent. The Spanish conquest swept through the Incan Empire, bringing steel and smallpox. Did disease claim the city's people before the invaders could find it? Or did they flee, abandoning their home as the empire crumbled around them? The Urubamba River kept flowing, the terraces grew wild, and the jungle crept in, swallowing Machu Picchu whole. For centuries it slept, known only to a handful of local farmers who whispered of a city in the clouds. No records mention it, no conquistadors claimed it. Was its isolation its salvation, or did the Incas hide it deliberately, a final act of defiance against a world closing in? Rediscovery and global fascination. In 1911, a new chapter began. Hiram Bingham, an American explorer with a hunger for lost worlds, trekked into the Andes, guided by farmers who knew the old paths. Hacking through vines and thorns, he emerged to find Machu Picchu's ruins spilling across the ridge, untouched by time. His breath caught as he traced the stones with his fingers, realizing he'd stumbled onto something extraordinary. His photographs and words, splashed across National Geographic, woke the world to this forgotten place. Bingham called it the lost city of the Incas, though locals had never truly lost it. His discovery sparked debates. Was this Vilcabamba the last Incan stronghold, or something else entirely? The questions multiplied, drawing scholars and adventurers to its gates, a legacy of wonder and mystery. Today, Machu Picchu reigns as a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the new 7 wonders of the world. Millions climb its trails, their footsteps echoing where Incas once walked. Archaeologists pore over its stones, piecing together a civilization that thrived in the clouds. The terraces, the temples, the Intihuatana, they all speak of a people who bent the impossible to their will. But the story isn't finished. Machu Picchu guards its secrets still. Why was it built? Why abandoned? What lies beneath the soil, waiting to be uncovered? It stands as a mirror to our own fleeting existence, a city suspended between heaven and earth, daring us to seek answers. As the mist swirls around its peaks, one truth endures: the more we learn, the more we yearn to know. Petra, the rose red city of secrets. Imagine a city carved into the heart of towering cliffs, its walls glowing a soft rose red under the desert sun, a place so hidden that it was lost to the world for centuries. Welcome back to our journey through the legendary lost cities of the past. Today, we delve deeper into Petra, a marvel of human ingenuity nestled in the rugged mountains of southern Jordan. But what secrets does this ancient city still hold? How did it rise to greatness? And why did it fade into the sands of time? Let's step through the narrow Esiku once more and uncover the next chapter of Petra's story. Petra wasn't just a city, it was a masterpiece of survival and ambition crafted by the Nabateans, a nomadic people who turned this arid wilderness into a thriving hub of trade and culture. By the 4th century BCE, the Nabateans had mastered the art of controlling the desert trade routes, linking the riches of the East, spices, incense, and silks from Arabia, India, and beyond to the bustling markets of the Mediterranean. Their strategic position gave them power, wealth, and influence, but it was their ingenuity that set them apart. They didn't just settle in Petra, they sculpted it from the rock itself, creating a city that was as beautiful as it was functional. Picture the treasury, or Al-Khazne, as you emerge from the shadowed seats. Its facade towers above you, intricately carved into the pink sandstone cliffs, with columns and statues that seem to defy the passage of time. Scholars still debate its purpose. Was it a tomb for a Nabatean king, a temple, or something else entirely? The precision of its design, cut directly into the rock face, speaks to a people who understood both architecture and the harsh demands of their environment. Further into the city, the monastery, or Ad Dair, looms even larger, perched high above the valley. Reaching it requires a climb of over 800 steps, but the reward is a breathtaking view of a structure that rivals the treasury in grandeur. These weren't mere buildings, they were statements of power, etched into the landscape for all to see. But Petra's brilliance wasn't just in its monuments. The Nabateans were water wizards in a land where every drop was precious. They engineered an intricate system of dams, cisterns, and channels to capture and store rainwater, turning a barren desert into a sustainable oasis. This wasn't luck, it was skill, honed over generations. They even carved small conduits into the cliffs to direct water to their homes and fields, ensuring the city could thrive despite the relentless sun. Can you imagine the foresight it took to build such a system over 2,000 years ago? It's no wonder Petra became a crossroads of civilizations, a meeting point for traders from Rome, Egypt, and Persia, all drawn by its wealth and mystery. The Nabateans weren't just engineers, they were shrewd diplomats too. They balanced relationships with powerful neighbors, paying tribute when needed and asserting independence when they could. By the 1st century BCE, Petra was at its peak, a bustling metropolis of over 20,000 people. Markets overflowed with goods, temples echoed with prayers, and the streets buzzed with voices in a dozen languages. But what was life really like here? One lesser-known tale tells of a Nabatean merchant named Obodas, who once outwitted a band of raiders by hiding his caravan's treasures in a secret cave, only revealing the location after striking a deal with his pursuers. Stories like these hint at a people as cunning as they were creative, always adapting to the challenges of their world. Yet even the mightiest cities can't escape the tides of change. By the first century CE, the Roman Empire cast its shadow over Petra. The Nabateans resisted at first, but in 106 CE, Emperor Trajan annexed their kingdom, turning Petra into a province of Rome. The Romans brought their own flair, new roads, amphitheaters, and temples, but they couldn't replicate the Nabatean magic. Trade routes began to shift, favoring sea paths over the desert trails Petra once dominated. The city's golden age was slipping away, though it remained a vital outpost for centuries, its rock-hewn halls still whispering of past glory. Then came the silence. Earthquakes rattled Petra in the 4th and 6th centuries, crumbling buildings and disrupting its water systems. As the Roman Empire weakened and trade dwindled, the city's population shrank. By the time the Islamic conquests swept through the region in the 7th century, Petra was a shadow of itself, its once thriving streets reduced to ruins. The Bedouin tribes who roamed the desert knew of it, calling it the rose-red city half as old as time. But to the outside world, Petra vanished, swallowed by the sands and forgotten for over 1,000 years. That is, until one fateful day in 1812. A Swiss explorer named Johann Ludwig Burckhardt, disguised as an Arab traveler, heard rumors of a hidden city beyond the mountains. Driven by curiosity, he persuaded local guides to lead him through the sights. What he found stunned him. Petra's majestic ruins, perfectly preserved by the dry desert air, stood as a testament to a lost civilization. His rediscovery sparked a global fascination, and soon scholars, adventurers, and artists flocked to Jordan to marvel at this eighth wonder of the world. In 1985, UNESCO declared Petra a World Heritage Site, recognizing its universal value as a symbol of human resilience and artistry. But Petra still guards its secrets. Archaeologists estimate that only 15% of the city has been excavated. Beneath the sand and stone, untold stories wait, tombs yet to be opened, artifacts yet to be unearthed. One intriguing find came in 2016 when satellite imagery revealed a massive platform hidden just outside the city center. Was it a ceremonial site, a marketplace, or something stranger? The answer eludes us, fueling speculation about what else lies buried in Petra's depths. And what of the Nabateans themselves? Did they leave clues to their final days, etched into the cliffs they called home? As we stand amid these ancient wonders, questions linger like the desert wind. How did a nomadic people build a city that rivaled the greatest empires? What drove them to carve their legacy into the rock, knowing it might one day be lost? And what other mysteries does Petra conceal, waiting for the right moment to be revealed? The rose-red city doesn't give up its secrets easily, but that's part of its allure. It draws us in, daring us to imagine the lives that once filled its streets, the hands that shaped its stone, the dreams that echoed through its canyons. Next time, we'll venture beyond Petra's cliffs to explore another enigma of the ancient world, a city that rose from the ashes of conquest, only to vanish beneath the weight of its own ambition. What could rival the splendor of Petra? Join us as we uncover the next thread in this tapestry of lost cities, where every ruin tells a story and every shadow hides a surprise. Angkor, the forgotten heart of the Khmer Empire. Imagine standing in the dense jungles of Cambodia, where the air is thick with humidity and the sounds of birds and insects fill the misty morning. Here, hidden beneath a canopy of ancient trees, lies Angkor, the once mighty heart of the Khmer Empire. For centuries, this sprawling city thrived as a center of power, culture, and spirituality, its temples reaching toward the heavens like stone giants. But today, it stands as a silent testament to a civilization lost to time. What secrets does Angkor hold? How did this magnificent city rise to greatness, only to be swallowed by the jungle? Let us journey through the mists of history to uncover the story of Angkor, a city of wonder, mystery, and enduring legacy. A city born of divine vision. Angkor's story begins in the 9th century, during the reign of King Jayavarman II, a ruler whose ambition was matched only by his devotion to the gods. Declaring himself a Devaraja, a god king, Jayavarman II sought to unite the fragmented Khmer territories under a single banner. To solidify his divine right to rule, he established Angkor as his capital, a city that would reflect the cosmic order of the universe. The name Angkor itself, derived from the Sanskrit word Nagara, means city or capital, but it would soon become synonymous with grandeur. Under Jayavarman II and his successors, Angkor grew into a sprawling metropolis, covering over 1,000 square kilometers at its peak. It was a city unlike any other, a harmonious blend of urban planning and sacred architecture. At its heart stood Angkor Wat, the largest religious monument in the world, dedicated to the Hindu god Vishnu. But Angkor Wat was just one of many temples that dotted the landscape, each a masterpiece of Khmer artistry and engineering. The temples of Angkor were not merely places of worship, they were cosmic maps, their layouts mirroring the sacred Mount Meru, the center of the universe in Hindu and Buddhist cosmology. Intricate carvings adorned their walls, depicting scenes from Hindu epics like the Ramayana and Mahabharata, as well as the daily life of the Khmer people. These carvings are a treasure trove of history, capturing the essence of a civilization at its zenith. But what drove the Khmer kings to build such monumental structures? Was it faith, power, or a desire to leave an indelible mark on the world? The golden age of the Khmer Empire. By the 12th century, under the reign of King Suryavarman II, Angkor had reached the height of its power. The city was a bustling hub of trade, culture, and innovation, home to over 1 million people, a staggering population for its time. The Khmer Empire stretched across much of Southeast Asia, its influence felt from modern-day Thailand to Vietnam. Angkor's prosperity was built on a foundation of agricultural ingenuity. The Khmer engineers constructed an intricate system of reservoirs known as barrays and canals that irrigated the surrounding rice fields. These reservoirs, some spanning over 8 kilometers in length, were not only feats of engineering, but also sacred spaces, their waters reflecting the divine order of the cosmos. The largest of these, the West Baray, could hold over 50 million cubic meters of water, ensuring the city's survival through the dry season. Life in Angkor was a vibrant tapestry of rituals, festivals, and daily routines. The city's markets overflowed with goods from across Asia, spices, silks, and precious stones, while its streets buzzed with the chatter of merchants, monks, and artisans. The Khmer people were devout followers of Hinduism and Buddhism, and their faith was woven into every aspect of life. Temples like Bayun, with its enigmatic smiling faces, and Te Prom, entwined with the roots of ancient trees, stand as silent witnesses to the spiritual fervor of the time. But Angkor was not just a city of stone and water, it was a city of people. The Khmer civilization was a melting pot of cultures, its society shaped by the influences of India, China, and beyond. The city's elite lived in opulent palaces, while farmers tended the fields that fed the empire. Yet for all its grandeur, Angkor's golden age was not to last. What forces conspired to bring this mighty city to its knees? The decline of a great civilization. The fall of Angkor is a tale as mysterious as its rise. By the 15th century, the city that had once been the jewel of Southeast Asia was in decline. Scholars have long debated the causes of Angkor's downfall, with theories ranging from environmental degradation to foreign invasions. One prevailing hypothesis suggests that the city's complex water management system, which had sustained it for centuries, became its undoing. Deforestation and over-irrigation may have led to soil erosion and the silting of canals, disrupting the delicate balance that kept the city alive. Another theory points to the shifting tides of religion and power. In the 13th century, King Jayavarman VII converted to Theravada Buddhism, a move that may have destabilized the traditional Hindu power structures. As the empire's grip weakened, neighboring kingdoms like the Thai and the Vietnamese began to assert their dominance, launching invasions that chipped away at Khmer territory. But perhaps the most haunting question is why Angkor was abandoned. By the 16th century, the city had been largely deserted, its temples so left to the mercy of the jungle. The once thriving metropolis was swallowed by the forest, its grandeur hidden beneath a canopy of vines and roots. For centuries, Angkor remained a ghost city, its existence reduced to whispers and legends among the local Khmer people. Rediscovery, a city reborn. In the 19th century, the world rediscovered Angkor thanks to the efforts of French explorers and naturalists. One such explorer, Henri Mouhot, stumbled upon the ruins in 1860, his breath stolen by the sight of Angkor Wat, rising from the jungle like a forgotten dream. His writings, published posthumously, captured the imagination of Europe, drawing scholars, artists, and adventurers to the site. The rediscovery of Angkor sparked a new era of exploration and restoration. French archaeologists, under the auspices of the École Française d'Extrême Orient, began the painstaking work of clearing the jungle and piecing together the city's history. Their efforts revealed a civilization of unparalleled sophistication, its temples and carvings a window into a world long lost. But the restoration of Angkor was not without its challenges. The Khmer Rouge regime in the 1970s brought violence and destruction to Cambodia, threatening the very survival of the site. Mines were laid in the surrounding jungles, and looters stripped the temples of their treasures. Yet Angkor endured, its stones bearing witness to both the beauty and brutality of human history, a legacy etched in stone. Today, Angkor stands as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a symbol of Cambodia's rich cultural heritage and a testament to the ingenuity of the Khmer people. The city's temples, from the grandeur of Angkor Wat to the haunting beauty of Ta Prohm, continue to captivate millions of visitors each year. But Angkor is more than a tourist destination. It is a living legacy, a place where the past and present converge. Archaeologists and historians continue to unravel the mysteries of Angkor, using cutting edge technology to map its vast expanse and uncover its secrets. Recent discoveries, such as the identification of a massive urban grid hidden beneath the jungle, have revealed that Angkor was even larger and more complex than previously thought. These findings challenge our understanding of ancient urbanism and raise new questions about the city's rise and fall. As we stand before the towering spires of Angkor Wat, the sun setting behind its ancient stones, we are reminded that the story of Angkor is far from over. The city's legacy is etched in stone, a testament to the dreams of kings and the devotion of a people. It invites us to reflect on the fragility of civilization, the power of faith, and the enduring allure of the unknown. What other secrets lie buried beneath the jungle? What stories wait to be told? Angkor, the forgotten heart of the Khmer Empire, beckons us to keep exploring, to keep dreaming, and to keep listening to the whispers of history. Tikal, the jewel of the Maya. Imagine standing in the heart of the Guatemalan rainforest, where the air is thick with the scent of damp earth and the distant calls of howler monkeys echo through the canopy. Here, rising from the jungle floor like ancient giants, are the towering pyramids of Tikal, a city that once stood as the beating heart of the Maya civilization. For over 1,000 years, Tikal thrived as a center of power, culture, and spirituality, its temples reaching toward the heavens like stone prayers. But today, it lies silent, its ruins a haunting reminder of a lost world. What secrets does Tikal hold? How did this magnificent city rise to greatness, only to be swallowed by the jungle? Let us journey through the mists of time to uncover the story of Tikal, a city of wonder, mystery, and enduring legacy. A city born of the jungle. Tikal's story begins around 400 BCE, during the pre-classic period of the Maya civilization. Nestled in the Petén Basin, the city grew from a small village into a sprawling metropolis, its population swelling to over 100,000 at its peak. The Maya were master builders, and Tikal's architecture reflects their ingenuity and reverence for the cosmos. The city's layout was a mirror of the Maya worldview, with its temples aligned to the movements of the sun, moon, and stars. The Great Plaza, flanked by the towering temple of the Great Jaguar and Temple II, was the heart of Tikal, a place where kings were crowned, rituals were performed, and the gods were honored. The Maya believed that Tikal was a sacred place, a bridge between the earthly realm and the heavens. The city's name, derived from the Maya word Tikal, means at the waterhole, a reference to the reservoirs that sustained its people. But Tikal was more than just a city. It was a political powerhouse, its rulers engaging in alliances, marriages, and wars with neighboring city-states like Calakmul and Karakol. The inscriptions on its stelae and altars tell tales of conquest and diplomacy, of kings who claimed divine right and sought to etch their names into eternity. Architectural marvels and cosmic design. Tikal's architecture is a testament to the Maya's mastery of engineering and their deep spiritual beliefs. The city's pyramids, some rising over 200 feet, were not just tombs or temples, they were cosmic mountains, their peaks touching the realm of the gods. The Temple of the Great Jaguar, with its steep staircase and ornate roof comb, was a monument to King Jasa Chan Kawil I, its chambers holding his remains and offerings to the afterlife. Across the plaza, Temple 2, believed to be the tomb of his wife, Lady Kalajun Une Mo, stands as a silent partner in the city's sacred landscape. But Tikal's brilliance extended beyond its temples. The city was a marvel of urban planning, with a network of causeways connecting its ceremonial centers, residential areas, and agricultural fields. The Maya engineered reservoirs and canals to capture and store rainwater, ensuring the city's survival through the dry season. The Lost World Pyramid, one of the oldest structures in Tikal, served as an astronomical observatory, its alignment tracking the cycles of the sun and stars. This was a city that lived in harmony with the cosmos, its every stone a reflection of the universe's order, a thriving society and its mysteries. Life in Tikal was a vibrant tapestry of rituals, trade, and daily routines. The city's markets bustled with activity, traders bartering goods from across the Maya world: jade, obsidian, cacao, and feathers. Artisans crafted intricate pottery, carvings, and textiles, their work a testament to the Maya's artistic prowess. The elite lived in palaces adorned with frescoes and sculptures, while farmers tended the fields that fed the city's population. Spirituality was woven into every aspect of life. The Maya practiced a complex religion, with gods governing every facet of existence, from the rain god Chak to the maize god Yumkayax. Rituals, often involving bloodletting and offerings, were performed to appease the gods and ensure the city's prosperity. The inscriptions and murals of Tikal tell tales of these ceremonies, as well as the city's history of warfare and conquest. But for all its grandeur, Tikal's story is shrouded in mystery. Why did this great city, at the height of its power, suddenly collapse? The fall of Tikal and its rediscovery. By the 9th century, Tikal's golden age had come to an end. The once mighty city was abandoned, its temples left to the mercy of the jungle. Scholars have long debated the causes of Tikal's decline, with theories ranging from overpopulation and environmental degradation to warfare and drought. The Maya's intricate calendar system, which predicted cycles of creation and destruction, may have foretold the city's fate, but the exact reasons remain elusive. For centuries, Tikal lay hidden beneath a canopy of vines and roots, its existence reduced to whispers among the local Maya people. It wasn't until the 19th century that the world rediscovered Tikal, thanks to the efforts of explorers like Alfred Maudslay and Theobert Mahler. Their photographs and drawings captured the imagination of the West, revealing a lost world of towering pyramids and intricate carvings. In the 20th century, archaeological expeditions began to uncover Tikal's secrets, piecing together the story of a civilization that had flourished in the heart of the jungle, a legacy etched in stone. Today, Tikal stands as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a symbol of the Maya civilization's ingenuity and resilience. Its ruins, from the Great Plaza to the Temple of the Masks, continue to captivate millions of visitors each year. But Tikal is more than a tourist destination. It is a living legacy, a place where the past and present converge. Archaeologists and historians continue to unravel the mysteries of Tikal, using cutting-edge technology to map its vast expanse and uncover its secrets. As we stand before the towering pyramids of Tikal, the sun setting behind the jungle canopy, we are reminded that the story of this great city is far from over. Its legacy is etched in stone, a testament to the dreams of kings and the devotion of a people. Tikal invites us to reflect on the fragility of civilization, the power of faith, and the enduring allure of the unknown. What other secrets lie buried beneath the jungle? What stories wait to be told? Tikal, the jewel of the Maya, beckons us to keep exploring, to keep dreaming, and to keep listening to the whispers of history. Carthage, the empire that defied Rome. Imagine standing on the shores of North Africa, where the Mediterranean's waves that lap against a coastline steeped in history. Here, in what is now modern day Tunisia, rose the mighty city of Carthage, a metropolis of trade, power, and defiance. For centuries, Carthage stood as a beacon of wealth and influence, its ships dominating the seas, its markets overflowing with goods from distant lands. But Carthage's story is not just one of prosperity. It is a tale of rivalry, war, and a legacy that echoes through the ages. How did this great city rise to challenge the might of Rome? And what led to its dramatic fall? Let us journey back to a time when empires clashed and the fate of the ancient world hung in the balance. A city born of legend. Carthage's origins are shrouded in myth, woven into the fabric of ancient lore. According to legend, the city was founded in 814 BCE by Queen Dido, a Phoenician princess fleeing the tyranny of her brother. With a small band of followers, she arrived on the shores of North Africa, where she struck a clever deal with the local tribes. She asked for only as much land as could be covered by an ox hide. But Dido, ever resourceful, cut the hide into thin strips, encircling a large area that would become the heart of Carthage. This tale, immortalized in Virgil's Aeneid, speaks to the cunning and ambition that would define the city's character. From its humble beginnings, Carthage grew into a thriving port, its strategic location making it a hub of trade between the East and West. The Phoenicians, master sailors, and merchants established Carthage as a center of commerce, its markets brimming with goods, ivory from Africa, spices from Arabia, and silver from Spain. The city's wealth was legendary, its coffers filled with gold, and its harbors bustling with ships. But Carthage's true power lay not just in trade, but in its ability to project influence across the Mediterranean. The rise of an empire. By the 5th century BCE, Carthage had transformed from a trading post into a formidable empire. Its navy, the envy of the ancient world, patrolled the seas, ensuring the flow of goods and tribute from its colonies and allies. The city's reach extended from the shores of Sicily to the Atlantic coast of Spain, its influence felt in every port and market. Carthage was not just a city, it was a network of power, its tendrils stretching across the known world. The heart of Carthage was its military might. The city's army, composed of mercenaries from across the Mediterranean, was a force to be reckoned with. Its generals, like the legendary Hannibal Barca, were masters of strategy, their campaigns studied even today. Hannibal's audacious crossing of the Alps in 218 BCE with an army of elephants remains one of history's most daring feats. For over a decade, he waged war on Roman soil, bringing the Republic to its knees. But Carthage's strength was also its weakness. Its reliance on hired soldiers and foreign alliances made it vulnerable to betrayal and internal strife. The Punic Wars, a clash of titans. The story of Carthage is inseparable from its rivalry with Rome. The two powers, each vying for dominance over the Mediterranean, clashed in a series of conflicts known as the Punic Wars. The First Punic War, 264 to 241 BCE, was a brutal struggle for control of Sicily, a strategic prize. Carthage, with its superior navy, seemed poised for victory, but Rome's adaptability and resilience turned the tide. The war ended with Carthage ceding Sicily and paying a heavy indemnity, its pride wounded, but its spirit unbroken. The Second Punic War, 218 to 201 BCE, was Carthage's bid for revenge. Under Hannibal's leadership, the Carthaginians launched a daring invasion of Italy, winning stunning victories at Trebia, Lake Trasimene, and Cannae. For a time, it seemed that Rome would fall, but the Republic, refusing to yield, slowly wore down Hannibal's forces. In 202 BCE, at the Battle of Zama, the Roman general Scipio Africanus defeated Hannibal, ending Carthage's dreams of conquest. The city was forced to abandon its military ambitions, its navy dismantled, its power clipped. The Third Punic War, 149 to 146 BCE, was Rome's final blow. Driven by fear and envy, the Romans besieged Carthage, their legions encircling the city. For 3 years, the Carthaginians fought with desperate courage, but the outcome was inevitable. In 146 BCE, Carthage fell, its walls breached, its people slaughtered or enslaved. The city was razed to the ground, its ruins salted to ensure it would never rise again. Or so Rome thought. The legacy of Carthage. Carthage's destruction was meant to erase it from history, but the city's legacy endured. Its influence on trade, warfare, and culture left an indelible mark on the ancient world. The Carthaginians were pioneers of maritime exploration, their ships venturing beyond the Pillars of Hercules into the Atlantic, charting unknown waters. Their agricultural innovations, detailed in the works of Mago, were studied by Romans and Greeks alike. But Carthage's greatest legacy lies in its defiance. The city's refusal to bow to Rome, even in the face of overwhelming odds, has inspired countless tales of resistance and resilience. Hannibal's audacity, the Carthaginian spirit of independence, these are echoes that resonate through history. In the ruins of Carthage, we see not just a city lost, but a symbol of what it means to stand against the tide. Today, Carthage is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, its ruins a poignant reminder of a civilization that once rivaled Rome. Archaeologists continue to uncover its secrets, from the haunting remains of its harbors to the fragments of its once great temples. But Carthage's story is far from over. It lives on in the imagination, a city that dared to dream of empire, a testament to the heights humanity can reach and the depths to which it can fall. Babylon, the city of wonders. Picture this, dear listeners. A city rising from the sun-scorched plains of Mesopotamia, where the Euphrates River winds like a silver thread through the desert. Welcome to Babylon, a place of myth and majesty, where towering walls and golden gates once gleamed under the ancient sun. This is no ordinary tale. It's the final chapter of our journey through the lost cities of history, a story to wrap you in wonder as the night draws near. So settle in, let the stars be your guide, and let's wander through the streets of Babylon, a city that once touched the heavens. A golden age begins. Long ago, in the 23rd century BCE, Babylon was born, a humble settlement in a land of rivers and reeds. But it wasn't until the 18th century BCE, under the wise king Hammurabi, that it became a name to remember. Hammurabi turned Babylon into the heart of an empire stretching far and wide. He gave the world one of its first legal codes, the Code of Hammurabi, etched into a tall stone stele, standing proud for all to see. Imagine it, a city where justice was carved in stone, where order ruled beneath the desert sky. Yet Babylon's true glory came later, in the 6th century BCE, with King Nebuchadnezzar II. This king dreamed big, really big. He built walls so massive that chariots could thunder across their tops, and the Ishtar Gate, a dazzling entrance of blue glazed bricks, decorated with dragons and bulls. Walking through that gate must have felt like stepping into a dream, a world where gods and mortals mingled. At the city's heart loomed the Etmananki, a ziggurat so tall it seemed to scrape the clouds. Some say it inspired the Tower of Babel, a monument to ambition left unfinished when the gods scattered humanity's tongues. What do you think, listeners? Could such a tower really have pierced the sky? The Hanging Gardens, a love story in bloom. Now, let's talk about Babylon's most enchanting mystery, the Hanging Gardens. Legend tells us Nebuchadnezzar built them for his wife, Amidus, who grew up surrounded by the green hills of Media. Far from home, she missed the forests and flowers, so the king decided to bring paradise to her. Picture terraces rising high, draped in trees and blossoms, waterfalls tumbling down like liquid silver. A clever system of channels lifted water from the Euphrates, defying the dry desert air. Ancient writers called it a wonder, a garden floating above the earth. But here's the twist. No one's ever found proof of these gardens. Some say they were real, hidden beneath the sands. Thus, others whisper they were a poet's fantasy, a story too beautiful to be true. What do you believe? Could a king's love have built a miracle, or is it all a bedtime tale? Either way, the idea of it lingers, as fragrant as those lost flowers. A city of stars and scribes. Babylon wasn't just about beauty, it was brilliant too. The Babylonians loved numbers, inventing a base 60 system we still use today to measure hours, minutes, and angles. Their astronomers gazed at the night sky, mapping stars and planets with a precision that dazzled the ancient world. Imagine scribes hunched over clay tablets, recording the dance of the heavens, their work lighting the way for centuries to come. In Babylon's libraries, stories like the Epic of Gilgamesh were kept alive, tales of heroes and quests that still echo tonight. Schools buzzed with young minds learning to write, calculate, and dream. This was a city where knowledge was power, where the mysteries of the universe were unraveled one starry night at a time. Can you hear it? The scratch of stylus on clay, the murmur of scholars under lantern light. It's the heartbeat of a city that never stopped thinking. The night Babylon fell. But even the grandest cities can't escape time's gentle hand. In 539 BCE, Babylon's golden age ended. The Persian king Cyrus the Great arrived, a shadow on the horizon. The story goes that Babylonians were feasting, lost dancing and singing under the moon, unaware of the danger creeping closer. Cyrus, clever as a fox, diverted the Euphrates River, letting his army wade through the shallow waters into the city. No swords clashed, no arrows flew. Babylon fell without a whisper. After that, the lights began to dim. Temples crumbled, so canals clogged with silt, and people drifted away. When Alexander the Great arrived years later, he found a ghost of a city, He vowed to rebuild it, to bring back the glory, but fate had other plans. Alexander died, and Babylon slipped further into the dust. For centuries, it slept beneath the sand, forgotten, until explorers in the 19th century brushed away the years and found its bones, gates, walls, a whisper of what once was. And so, Babylon fades into the night, a city of wonders and warnings. Its walls may be gone, but its spirit lingers in the laws we live by, the stars we chart, the stories we tell. It reminds us that greatness can soar, but nothing lasts forever. Yet isn't that what makes these tales so magical? They're fragile, like dreams, yet they endure in our hearts. Dear friends, we've traveled far together through Atlantis's waves, El Dorado's jungles, Pompeii's ashes, and now Babylon's sands. 10 lost cities, 10 nights of wonder. Thank you for walking these ancient paths with me, for letting history wrap you in its arms. As this series ends, I wish you sweet dreams filled with echoes of these places. May they spark your curiosity for what lies beyond the horizon. Who knows what other mysteries await us? For now, though, rest well. Good night, and let the whispers of the past cradle you to sleep.